Hi everybody, welcome back to class and to session 1 of behavioral psychology. This week's focus is on understanding behavior. While throughout this course we will end up taking a dive into what motivates people to behave in certain ways, this week is simply focused on the identification of behavior, and then we will move into behavior modification. But first, we are going to start with the most basic of questions. What is behavior? Milton Berger defines behavior simply as what people do and say. However, while the definition might be simple, we all know that there really is nothing simple about behavior. In fact, behavior is quite complex, hence the study of human behavior, or behaviorism becoming a separate field of psychology. So why is behavior so complex? Because behavior can be both observable and unobservable. Milton Berger uses the term overt, observable, and covert, unobservable. But in both cases, either could be hard to decipher, which makes modification quite challenging. Observable or overt behavior can be seen through one's actions, physical, like running, jumping, walking, skipping to the park, or nonverbal gestures such as facial expressions, surprise, you weren't expecting that, or bodily gestures that would imply to someone that you disagree with a choice that they might have just made. No matter, anything that can be seen or observed would be classified as an overt behavior. Unobservable or covert behavior would be behaviors that cannot be seen. These would essentially be our thought processes, retrieving memories, or cognitive thinking, etc. These are the things that we all do covertly, but one thing that we need to keep in mind is that covert behaviors have significant influence on our overt behaviors. Although I strongly dislike using this particular example, it is still one of the best examples I have to describe the two terms. Consider discrimination. Overt discrimination is usually direct and intentional, while covert discrimination could be subtle and unintentional. For example, as a woman, if I unknowingly walked into an initial consultation meeting as a female consultant, and I opened the door, and the room was comprised of all men, I could do one of two things. Either directly address the elephant in the room and say, "Hi, gentlemen, my name is Stephanie," and engage in the meeting, or I could sit down quietly in my chair and demonstrate timidness, or contribute little to the meeting. Either scenario, from both myself or from the actions of the group, would say a lot about overt or covert behavior. One of the men could even be so bold or direct as to say, "When I saw your name, I assumed it was Stephen, not Stephanie." This not only would demonstrate overt behavior in the candidness of his statement, but it would also demonstrate to me that his covert behavior was uncomfortable with me being a woman about to tell him all the ways he is contributing to failure in his organization. So although I may add some levity to that example, the key takeaway with this example is to remember that overt behavior is oftentimes heavily influenced by our covert behavior.